Hello again, guys and gals. Well, old John here is going to show you a little something. There's been a lot of questions about thinning the Pro One Premium Hide Paste, and I'm here to show you a little method. A lot of people have suggested, well, put water in it and thin it. You don't want to do that, and the reason you don't want to do that is simply because it will degrade the integrity of the hide paste. It will thin it. It will make it weaker. It will kill its actual purpose, which is to hold the hide to form. So, Paul Kales, in his instructions on using his product, Pro One Premium Hide Paste, suggests stirring it up. Then the more you stir it, the thinner it gets, and makes it for easier applications. I mean, we've got people today complaining, it tires my hands, and you know. Anyhow, we're going to do it with a little something. You can go to any thrift store or Salvation Army or any little thrift store, and you can pick up an old hand mixer. You can go to an antique store and you can pick up just the blades. Now, I used to use this one. This was, I believe, it was one of my wife's grandmother's mixers. Old Dormeyer. It worked great when I used to mix my own hide paste. I used to make my own dextrin-based hide paste. And this little old mixer right here, this gorgeous little futuristic-looking mixer from back in the day, would do an excellent job. Now, of course, it has two blades. You don't need two blades to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you this in real time. You simply pop the blade out of the mixer, whatever mixer it is. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Dormeyer. And I'm going to put it in my DeWalt cordless drill. You can use a corded drill if you don't have a cordless. Doesn't matter. Whoops, let's take this thing off first. There we go. Let's take off the quick change attachment. We put the blade in, make sure it's on forward, and we spin it until it catches, and then you can use a cordless drill or a corded drill. Doesn't matter. I found that the single mixing blade works best in the plastic container for the Pro One Premium Hide Paste. Now, I'm going to show you two versions of the stuff. One has been around for a couple of years. I just found it buried amongst my stuff under my table. And it's real dry, and we're going to try that one too. But first, I'm just going to show you what I do to thin hide paste to make it usable right away. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. You can see the date on this one here. I'm picking one that is a little older. I know a lot of the people who buy this, a lot of them do it part-time, so they have this paste around for a while. And when it's around for a while, it will get dry. But you can see the date was 8/21/19 on this one. That's the date I opened it, not the date I've got it. I've got others around here that have been opened other than, but this is a decently aged one here. Now I'm going to even scrape the stuff off the lid with this little spatula. Well, I'm going to try. Okay, this stuff's too dry to bother with. But inside is the prize. Now what we've got here, we've got a brush, which I keep a brush in my hide paste. This is used for when I have the head, the cape on the form. And of course, you know, the clay gets a little, the hide paste gets a little spread out. I can get under there with a brush and distribute it under the eyelids where I want it. The little tongue depressor is used for applying it around ear bases, around the antler burrs. It just helps spread it after it's been pushed off. Now, I'm going to start by taking the stuff that's on the edges, and I'm going to scrape the sides of the container. This is good and dry. This is going to be a perfect example of what you want to do. Now, a lot of people think, well, it's ruined. It's not ruined. Just because it's dried out does not mean it's ruined or that it's too old to use. It's real thick at this point. Okay, real thick. And like I say, I'm going to doing this in real time. I'm not going to make any cuts or anything, so bear with me. I'm going to knock that into the bottom. Now, I'm going to take my little mixing blade on my drill. Power up, and I'm going to go in. You do have to hold on to this, okay? But you can see how creamy it's becoming already. You can also bring the blades up the side of the container and scrape the stuff off the side of the container with the blades, which is real good because the blades will dig in. I think my battery wore out. Okay, I'm gonna have to change the battery. Back in a moment. So much for real time, folks. So much for live filming. All right, new battery. Hey, shit happens. That's why you might want to use a corded drill, okay? Anyway, back in we go. Now, just so you know, the thick hide paste did not kill the battery. Okay, I reframed an entire basement door just yesterday. So, and I used that to drive the lag bolts in to the hinges. We have a old-fashioned style hinges on this thing. So it really took a beating yesterday. But anyhow, now there's that lump in the middle that we took down from the top. You catch it in the blades can break it up. Just like mixing up a nice little cake batter. There we go. I'd say she's pretty much lump-free, smooth, mighty thin. Now, I lift this out. As I lift, I keep it spinning, and I let the blades throw the paste off. Now, normally I would just take this over to my sink, run some hot water, and I would slowly turn this under the sink and let the hot water take it off. Now, allow me to show you something. Nice and thin. This is just about where you want it. There's no reason to add water. There was no water added to this. I swear, during the interim of changing the battery, no water was added to this. Like I say, water destroys the integrity of the product. It breaks it down, and that eliminates the sticky holding power of the paste. And you don't want to do that. There's no need to do that. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to take my little tongue depressor stick, put it back in the solution, in the solution. Oy, regular mad scientist. Take my brush, put the brush back down into the paste. I'm going to take this plastic. You can use saran wrap. I choose to use a little heavier plastic. It's not all that much heavy, but this makes a nice barrier against air getting into the container. And what I'll do is I'll put this on the floor and I'll whack it with a mallet. Let me get my mallet over here. All right, there we are. Oh, too many deer forms. Now, this is really best done on my concrete floor, but you simply go around and you beat the edges down nice and tight. And the plastic will make it so that it will help keep the air out of the paste, keep it from drying. Now, this is an old vintage. This is, I don't know, 2 years old. Whatever water you see down here is not water that I applied. It's actually water that has separated from the paste. There's an old brush. Now, I have no idea how this is going to work. This is really old. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scrape it off the sides first with a spatula. Good heavy-duty rubber spatula. I don't know if it's a Rubbermaid or whatever. Oy, that's really dry. This is part of what this paste is proven to do, is keeping its adhesiveness, or its adhesive qualities. Now, I have no idea how this is going to go, so this is going to be on camera. I'm not expecting a lot. Like I say, this is really an old batch. I picked this up at the Ohio Taxidermist trade show, about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And it's just been laying around. It's been hiding on my shelf. But let's see what happens. I'm gonna drive this down into it. I'm gonna start slow. And I'm gonna pick up the speed as we go around. I'm gonna pick up the loose stuff off the bottom first. If this works, cool. If not, you know, no big deal. No biggie. This may be past its shelf life. This may be past its shelf life. But I will not add water to it. It's not going to become as creamy and smooth as the first one we did. That was a more recent container that I thought we'll try. This is old stuff. All right, even this has its limits. This has its limits, Jack. I guess if you stayed at it, or kept at it, it might thin down some more, but I don't think it's going to be as nice as what I just showed. I mean, this is a really off-white color to boot, so. When I got down this low, I ordered another one. I usually don't go any further after it goes down to a certain level. I'll just go ahead and order another one. Like I say, taxidermy is my main business. I don't work at something else and do taxidermy for fun on the weekends or at night. So I charge enough for my work that incidentals like hide paste purchases and whatnot, they're part of the business. They're part of the business. Whew. It's not as tiring as trying to stir this by hand, I can tell you that. And I bet you, if I actually use the mixer with 2 blades, it would have more effect on this old dry stuff than this single blade does. I don't know. I'm assuming, and we all know what happens when you assume. You know. If you don't, well, spell out assume. And you find you make an asset of you and me. Oh, goodness. Actually, this is not coming out too bad. This is actually beginning to thin a bit. It's not going to be as creamy as the first one because there's nothing creamy about this batch. It's old, dried out. Well, it's not too bad. It's actually become paste again. Now, I would not recommend mixing old stuff like this with the new batch, or like with the batch we just mixed up. I would not recommend that, not a bit. No. This probably has faults in it because it's so darn dry that you don't want to mix that into a new batch. Unless you wanted to take a container like so and fool around and put some of it in here with the newer stuff, that would be your choice. I don't think I would do that. And I would have to consult with the manufacturer about doing something like that. But I don't think it would be a good idea. I think just mixing this up, if you find that all you have is old stuff like this, and you don't have time to put an order in, I dare say you could go ahead and thin this like by this method, and you would be able to reuse this paste again. I would dare say it has its sticky qualities. I will put my finger in it and see how sticky it still is, but I can see some creaminess coming out of this. That is really sticky. This is more, right now it's more like the paste you used to use when you were a kid in grade school or kindergarten and whatnot. It's like that old white school paste. Whoa, baby, go back here. You have to hold on to the container or she will spin off. I don't know how many minutes we've got in this right now. Almost 10 minutes. Actually, a little over 10 minutes at this point. But again, if this was all you had, and 10 minutes might not seem like a lot of time if this was all you had left. And you know, I see a lot of people asking questions online like, oh my gosh, I'm down to my last little bit of hide paste and it's really hard, and what can you recommend until I get a new one? Well, I would recommend, rather than trying something not made for taxidermy, I would recommend doing this. Like I said, if you use the mixer with 2 blades, you will eliminate every lump in this container. I'm not going to show the mixer in use because this is not a cooking show. And if you can't figure out how to use a hand mixer, you've got more problems than just dried paste. That is a lot nicer looking than it was when we started. Paul Kales has brought a really superior product to market, and I have no problem. I mean, I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get any payment for doing this. I'm just trying to help people understand that there's a way out of things. You have paste that's old and dried, there's a way out of it. Takes a little bit of elbow grease. You might work up a sweat. What the hell? Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to stop this now. There we go. Let's get the little brush. See how it picks up on the little brush. Very nice. That's really nice. Spreads. Ooh, it's actually a little warm. Warmed up a bit. Now it's staying where I apply it, for sure. Staying where I apply it. Not too bad. Not too bad. So I can have another little extra bit of... Now I'll tell you, a paste that's this sticky, I could tell you where this would work great. Ear liners. And if you mix this with a little bit of the, with an equal amount of the Buckeye Supreme hide paste, the old formula, the original formula that Mackenzie sells, you're going to get a really, really super duper sticky ass hide paste for ears. So, at any rate, I hope this helped. Shows what you can do with a little stick-to-itiveness and creativity. I hope you all got something out of this. I said there's no date listed on this, so I don't know how old. I know that this is at least 2 years old, and you just saw a 2-year-old hide paste mixed up to where it can be used fairly well. So, with all that, I will say toodaloo for now.